Ladies and gentlemen, according to CNN, you could read right here, exclusive, Hunter Biden lawyers meet with Justice Department officials next week as scrutiny of an investigation intensifies. Here's why Trump will always dominate the Republican Party, thank God. Great president, record low poverty. So before we get to felonies within Hunter Biden's laptop, okay, so when the very prestigious Washington Post or other publications, New York Times, other publications, very prestigious, wonderful, everyone loves them. When they look at the Hunter laptop story, they say, well, you can't prove anything. There are emails that the New York Post published where people are asking Hunter for influence on behalf of their company. There are emails published by the New York Post that state that Joe Biden gets 10% of Hunter's business deals. This is as Joe was campaigning. He didn't even know anything. While Joe was campaigning, that he had no knowledge of Hunter's business deals. You have banking and financial transactions, hundreds of millions of dollars into shell companies. The rebuttal from all of these wonderful journalists, whether it's, the whole public relations monstrosity, MSNBC, CNN, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, New Yorker, Atlantic, they're all going to say, well, you can't prove anything. There's nothing there. There's no there. Of course there is. You have felonies. You don't have any felonies with Trump. You have literally nothing with Trump. They don't even have a felony in the indictment. They have 34 felonies linked to a federal crime in New York, and the federal crime is non-existent. They were so desperate to get Trump politically, they've had 34 different misdemeanors boosted and elevated to felonies because of the FEC, but the FEC didn't view what Trump did to be a fine, much less a criminal act, a felony. So that is going to be overturned either by an appeals court or the Supreme Court. There's no evidence that Trump told Michael Cohen anything. Although, Michael Cohen, he probably had an agreement. Trump probably had the affair, but it was a business transaction that did not break any laws. Here you have, according to Ted Cruz and Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson, Hunter summarizing classified data in his emails. That is a serious felony. Then you have potential bribery, graft, pay-to-play schemes, potential quid pro quo schemes. These are all serious criminal act. This is all serious criminal activity. Not to mention the harm to national security. So you're looking at journalists, and what they do is you're looking at a public relations machine in Washington, D.C. There's a reason that The Atlantic has the same reporting on Trump as MSNBC and CNN, and they all have the same reporting as Mother Jones, The Nation, BuzzFeed, well, that's no longer around, but Vice, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, The Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine. It's the same thing every single day. Then Jimmy Kimmel regurgitates the same thing with Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert. It's the same thing. You're only getting one side of the story, and it's always cover up the criminality within the Democratic Party and accuse Trump of everything under the sun and make the average person say, I just can't vote for Trump anymore. Oh my God, I just can't vote for Trump. That's the aggregate, the macro, the bird's eye view of what's going on. Okay, but Hunter's lawyers expect indictment. So that's why they're meeting with Department of Justice officials. You look, ladies and gentlemen, and here, you look, Hunter's going to be indicted. That's one article. Washington Post and Hunter probe agency evidence of tax firearm purchase case against Hunter. Okay, but the real issue is possible bribery, graft, and those types of financial schemes. That's the issue. That's the real problem. If you look, ladies and gentlemen, you have a situation where actual criminal activity is being overlooked. It's being overlooked because you have a Democrat or Democrats involved in criminal activity. High level, high ranking, or I should say related to Joe. And currently we have a president that is not presiding over record low poverty and record highs in household median income. With Trump, we had record low poverty, record highs in household median income, and all they could do is accuse Trump of being an operative of another country. Nothing they've ever accused Trump of is accurate. They misquote him all the time. Is he perfect? No. He has a better personality than Joe Biden. So if you want to talk about personality and demeanor, and if you're presidential, and he has a better Donald Trump has a better personality, is a better human being than Joe Biden. You can go through the list of all the things the really good things that Trump has done for people who were losing their lives and, battling, different like cancer, for example. He's actually a really good person. And you could see there are a lot of people who say, everybody from Dana White to Mike Tyson to a whole lot of people that look at Trump and say, look, the Donald Trump that I know is a really good person and a really good individual. And so the media hype, the hysteria, some of the things he said, look, did Trump have to, I don't think that Trump should have disparaged via Twitter, NFL athletes or LeBron James. I don't think he has to all the time counterpunch. I don't think he always, if somebody goes after him, he doesn't, because it doesn't work. There's diminishing returns in that, just like there are diminishing returns in trying to accuse Trump of everything under the sun. But overall, he's a better human being than Joe Biden, who was literally accused of what Trump spoke about in a bizarre discussion on a hot mic. Biden was literally accused, and of course, the entire media apparatus says believe, oops, and then no, don't believe anymore because it's a Democrat involved. And you have, quotes that Biden has said, just Charlemagne the God is one example, but worse than anything Trump has ever said. Swept under the rug, media doesn't want to talk about it. It's never supremacy when Democrats say something that would obviously fall into that category. But anyway, the hypocrisy, here's the thing. This is why almost half the country will always choose Trump. Because Democrats are hypocrites. And they always do and say things that are the opposite or the antithesis of their alleged ideals. 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves. Oh my God, the planet. You look at the foreign policy, we're 90 seconds to midnight. And most people don't care, but we're not 90 seconds. And most voters, I guess, don't really focus on this, but Trump voters do. We're 90 seconds to midnight, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists with Biden. We have inflation at 6 to 8%. Far higher for, and hit subscribe to this channel, by the way, really quickly. Hit subscribe. Patreon link is below. Super thanks is below. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing on the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, other publications. And if you want to become part of a newsletter, email me at contactgoodman88@gmail.com. But ladies and gentlemen, contactgoodman88@gmail.com. We're 90 seconds to midnight, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, with Biden's foreign policy. Yes, his foreign policy led to the invasion in Europe. Yes, his foreign policy might lead to another invasion in Asia. Yes, his economic policy led to inflation. We had 2% inflation when he took office. Democrats tanked the economy. Democratic governors tanked the economy in Trump's last year in office. They didn't have to do that. There was no reason to do that, although the experts in media and everyone converged saying, oh my God, we have to. That's it. It's the end of the world. Those were the policies of Trump's adversaries, not Trump. Before that, we had record low poverty, record low unemployment, and inflation at 2%, record highs in household median income. And he didn't commit any crimes. He still hasn't. Even if indicted, we know that he hasn't committed crimes. We do know that Hunter, Joe, we know Hillary with private service, and I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee, did commit crimes. Give me your thoughts below. You can't siphon classified data onto unencrypted servers or servers that were once unencrypted. Give me outside the U.S. government. It's not even impossible from a cybersecurity perspective. Hit subscribe.